仮面ライダーオース変身このすぐ
Kamen Rider OOOs is one of my favorite Kamen Rider series and one of my favorite shows, period, which made the prospect of making this analysis terrifying because I want to do the show justice, showcase all the cool themes and characters it has to offer, but that mission scared me due to how difficult it would be to properly explain it all. I'll try my best to properly explain why I love this show anyway. Kamen Rider OOOs starts when a couple of doofuses awaken the Greed, monsters who've been asleep for around 800 years that are made up of special metals called core metal. They're supposed to have 10 core metals, but they only have 9, so they desire to be complete. One of the Greed, Ankh, reluctantly teams up with a homeless wanderer, AG, to collect the core metals and fight the Greed, with AG becoming Kamen Rider OOOs to do so. The two also get assistance from the mysterious Kogami Foundation, who provide weapons and the series' secondary writer, Kamen Rider Birth. Despite the Kogami Foundation being a major player in the story, we never learn the origins of them. The most we learn is that the chairman is very fascinated by the Greed and OOOs, and I really like that. I generally enjoy when parts of a show's plots and lore are up to audience interpretation to focus on more important aspects like characters and aesthetics. Besides, Kogami himself is a hilarious character who provides commentary during important moments with a grandiose presence. Speaking of characters, our main character AG may start off seeming like an aloof good boy with a strong moral belief of helping others, but slowly but surely we see that something is up with him. He constantly put his own life in danger, even as early as episode 2, which many characters have shown concern over. This might seem like a heroic trait at first, but it's eventually revealed the traumatic context of this trait. AG tried to help this poor village, but they were annihilated, with AG being the only survivor. Since his family are politicians, they use AG's experience to further their agenda with no care about the emotions he felt. This experience made AG's desire extinct, which made him a prime target for the purple dinosaur metals that make up his Putu terraform, which makes him go berserk and turn into a Greed. It may seem like a selfless thing to do to have no desire and help others, but you're a person too, with friends that worry and care about you. That doesn't mean you have to be a heartless jerk, it means you have to balance self-care and helping others. And AG does find a desire in having the power to help others, which is a beautiful moment. Usually desires are scoffed at as negative things, but OOOs showcases that aren't inherently bad, it just depends on how one goes about achieving and expressing their desire. Ankh is the secondary protagonist who is an angsty ball of emotions. Throughout the series, his core goal is to collect his core metals to be complete, going so far as to betray AG at times. As he lives among humans, he starts craving a desire for the human experience, which is why he's obsessed with ice cream throughout the series, because eating ice cream was the first taste of humanity he felt, a desire that's satisfied when Ankh defeats the final boss by sacrificing himself. Despite him being a jerk at times, you get a sense that he doesn't know what exactly he wants to do till he figures it out. Like when Ankh betrays AG for the Greed, he's mostly doing it out of a material desire to become complete rather than an emotional desire. He and AG are quite an interesting duo, not just in their charming character interactions, but in their character arcs. While AG has to reclaim his desire, Ankh learns to have a more complex desire than a material one. Hien is a fine supporting character, but I wish she got more outside of worrying about her brother and being emotional support for our protagonist. Not saying she needs to be a Kamen Rider, but just some other character trait to round her out more. Dante, aka Kamen Rider Birth, is a fun charismatic character who became a Kamen Rider solely to make money. In other words, it's just a job to him, which is an interesting stance for a Kamen Rider to take, but he truly shines when he's mentoring Goto to become the next Birth. Goto is introduced at the beginning of the show being a bit strong-headed, but humbles himself by working various seemingly mundane and silly jobs before fully taking the mantle of Birth. The great thing about the two Births dynamic is that Dante doesn't really treat the role of Kamen Rider as being a hero, more so as a necessary job he needs to take on, while Goto treats the mantle of Kamen Rider with this importance, which makes for a gripping dynamic between the two. The four Greed are fun antagonists who start off by doing the Monster of the Week shtick to become complete, while forming alliances and betraying each other in the process, until Dr. Maki comes in and starts manipulating the Greed for his master plan. Dr. Maki is often seen carrying a funny doll that his sister gave him as a kid, which can be seen as his last shred of humanity, as he abandons the doll after using the purple metals to become a Greed, which gives way to the comedic hijinks he would get into with the doll. But why would Maki become a Greed in the first place? As a kid, Maki burned down his house, which killed his sister, but for a while he was blinded by a desire that his sister was nice, until realizing that she was a jerk to him, which made him have a twisted worldview to kill anything before it becomes corrupted, which is a fascinating counterpoint to our protags. While AG may initially not have a desire, he still helps people, even if those people are misguided at times, while Maki is content with a nihilistic belief that nothing matters, so everything must die. Moving on from nihilism to toys, OOOs is one of my favorite looks and gimmicks in Kamen Rider. The core metals are a simple yet cool gimmick, and the fact that you can mix and match the coins for different many unique combos for the suits and jingles is such a great way to encourage experimentation and creativity of the toy line, which is helped by how colorful and cool OOOs looks. Burf is more mechanical in design, which cleverly contrasts the ancient powers OOOs uses. He can add on weapons through his Gashapon-inspired belt, and even use all the add-ons to turn into this monstrosity of a form called Burf Day, which is technically his final form. I like it anyway because of how funny it looks. Overall, I hope I competently showcase why Kamen Rider OOOs is one of my favorite Kamen Rider series. It's such a great series of fun characters, nuanced narrative themes about desire, and a creative yet functional toy line. Even if you're not into Kamen Rider yet, I highly recommend this as your first series. And if you're into Kamen Rider and haven't watched it, you are dead to me. You can resurrect yourself in my conscience by watching the show though.